Wow, we are really set up.
All right. Yeah. Well, it takes a little bit, testing out the new equipment.
Is this episode one? Is this the real deal?
I think this is episode one,
This is episode one.
and I have gadgets.
Happy unplugged plantspiration. Okay, no,
Yeah,
for real.
for real.
This is-
We're gonna do this. We're getting situated here. We got gadgets, we got
We're all hooked up.
microphones. We're all hooked up. Yeah.
Well, where's my like intro music or the crowd
Oh,
cheering?
oh, here.
All right. All right. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Here we go. Welcome to
Oh,
Plantspiration Unplugged. John,
yeah.
this is episode one,
This is great.
but I think we've done like 10
It's all right.
test episode
Retakes.
pre-takes, making sure that we got this down.
Yeah, I got to make sure. There's a lot of wires and knobs and switches and lights
This is
flickering,
pretty
flashing.
cool. Look at this setup.
It's awesome. I love it.
Everybody said start a podcast. So you guys,
All right, cool.
we started a podcast. This is Plantspiration Unplugged. We're John and Stephanie,
Yo.
founders of Plantspiration.
Yep.
John,
Yes.
you finally have a mic.
I know, but what am I going to talk about?
We're going to talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but we're not in the kitchen. If you notice, that's the
I think
unplugged
that's why
part.
we're a little like unsure of where to even go with this. Like usually we're standing in front of people, in our kitchen,
Yeah,
dealing with food, talking about nutrition, doing stuff like that. And now we're sitting in some chairs and we're just like,
I
do,
know.
do,
I don't have a
do.
cooktop here,
I don't have
nothing.
my apron. I've got no notes. I've got no food.
Food. Well,
Oh,
that's a
here's what
good
I was going to
idea.
say.
I
Speaking
do
of
have
food,
tea.
this podcast
Yeah,
is brought to you by Myers Grocery Store because if it wasn't for you, we would not be plant fueled. I mean,
that's
honestly, we
right.
get most of our
That's
stuff
right.
from Myers. This is my number one smoothie every day.
Good stuff.
So what are we doing here?
I don't know. We're just gonna
Well, I
talk.
mean, we've got a story. That's why we started
Yeah,
the Plantspiration. That's why we're doing the podcast. We
right,
kind of have a
right.
little bit of a story. People are, word is getting out. Plantspiration,
Oh, yeah.
can change your diet, change your lifestyle, change your
That's right.
life.
Yeah.
How do we know that? I guess we should just go from the
Because we
beginning.
did.
Yeah, we did.
That's what we
Why don't
did.
why don't you take over for once?
I don't know really where to take over from because this is, well, it's just our story, really, right?
I guess share it. If this is episode one and we're starting this podcast, I know how to wrap it up. Like I know where this is going.
All right.
We give
Good.
we want to inspire you. You know what I mean?
You.
Be the inspiration. And
Yeah,
you'll learn as you get, they'll learn as they get to know us, like kind of what's going
definitely.
on, how we got here, what we're doing, why I get to be like, mic check, mic check. I don't want to do that. Okay. So maybe I should just interview you. Well,
Yeah.
actually,
Well,
it was in 1994 that we married. I don't
oh,
even know why I brought that up, but it was 2012. Wasn't it 2012
yeah.
actually?
Yeah.
2012. Um, our daughter came home and said she wanted to go vegan. She
Yeah.
was reading some book and she was like, into this, no harm, we don't need to hurt anything in order to survive. And I'm not gonna lie, I eye rolled it a little bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, I understand that part, but I was like, well, how are we gonna eat?
How are we going to eat? How is she going to survive is actually what was going through our mind. So, we let her do her thing. I started researching. Well, actually, I didn't do a tremendous amount. I just typed in, like, how long could you live without meat? Now, imagine you guys, this is 2012. You might be looking at me right now thinking, so what's the big deal? What changed? Well,
Yeah.
this is what we're going to get into. So so welcome, pull up a chair, get walking, I should say. Don't sit down like us. Just I hope you're moving or doing something right now. So
Yeah, right.
anyway, she comes home, she says she wants to go vegan. I'm thinking this is ridiculous. I type into the computer, how long can you live without meat? And so
And what happened? The computer laughed at you or what?
well, I saw like you could survive without it, like
Right,
you could
right.
live without it, and then I saw this documentary, Forks Over Knives, and
Yeah.
I was into documentaries because I was into not doing anything else really. I just was laid up all the time, loading
Mhm.
up on the documentaries, and I was like, oh, let's see this Forks Over Knives documentary.
Yeah.
And I turned it on. Do you know, were you there?
No, but
Oh,
I
you
heard about
you heard about it.
it.
Yeah. I was like, okay, were you there that day that I did that? So I open it up and I specifically remember like I fast forward a little bit, and it's like giving up cheese and you could lose weight and you could survive. So I was like, okay, click. I'm going to shut this
All right,
laptop.
she's
Yeah,
not
she'll
gonna
survive.
die, right?
She's not going to die. And I am never giving up cheese. And there's no way I could survive without my alcohol.
Yeah.
So it was an unrealistic thought in my mind. It's not happening, but she'll be okay. And
Yeah.
we'll just deal with it and hopefully it'll get over with.
Yeah, this fad will end, I'm sure.
And we were just standard American diet, standard American
Hmm.
life. I guess, you know what the first question was when I said, "Hey, we're doing a podcast."
Hmm.
People said, what was life like before Plantspiration?"
Yeah.
So give them a picture, John, a
Um,
visual.
geez, I don't know. Standard American food.
I'm laying up in bed. I'm not really doing much. I can't walk.
Yeah, you were in bad shape. A lot of disease, a lot of broken knees, like knee surgeries and high blood pressure and just a ton of
Autoimmune,
autoimmune. Yeah.
diverticulitis, IBS. If I let loose that first little demo we did when I talked about how I met you and you had
Hmm.
IBS all the way back then,
Oh yeah.
um, we didn't know. We just thought that was part of life, blowing mud, not feeling good, being at the doctor every week, being sick.
Right.
So the visual that we want to make sure everybody gets is this is us 145 pounds later. We lost 145 pounds. I
Hmm.
lost 100 pounds.
Yep.
He lost 45 pounds. Our
Yep.
family lost 250 pounds. Then on top of that, we reversed all these diseases that we thought were just hereditary.
Yeah. Right.
High blood pressure. You had autoimmune. I had an autoimmune. I was facing double knee replacements. We both had IBS. We couldn't even leave the house.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Well, that was life, though.
Yeah.
That was life. Pancreatitis, fibrocystic breast disease. I battled obesity most of my life. That's kind of depressing dealing with all that stuff. I didn't have any hope. I didn't have any drive. I did not have a career. I was an awesome housewife, stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
taking care of the three kids. Like I crushed it there.
Definitely made dinner for us every night.
Every day I cooked dinner for everybody every
Yeah.
day. We didn't eat out. We really ate what we believe to be the healthiest diet that you could get, the leanest of the chicken, the organic stuff, the
We
ground turkey.
yeah.
We really were into, oh, it's smoothie time. We got into the Fage yogurt. We went through
Uh,
that whole,
Yeah.
what diet didn't we do is what I should
I
basically
don't know.
list.
That's how this was. This was like the next diet on the list. I was always next to you at different Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and just trying all these different foods and
I
diets
did it
and
all. I'd lose a couple pounds. I'd lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds.
like, woo, yeah.
All right, it's Friday night. Now let's
Let her loose.
let loose, have some low fat potato chips here with my low fat cottage
Yeah,
cheese.
baked potato chips. I remember
Nothing,
that was.
nothing. Oh, geez. The sun chips
Oh,
and
I
the
love
Sierra
them.
Mist. Like that brings me back right there.
Look out. Yeah.
Sun chips and Sierra
That was
Mist.
my lunch for like a year, sun chips and cottage cheese.
You were working from home. What do you do? Maybe you should tell, since everybody knows I wasn't really doing anything. I was
Oh,
a
it's
professional
just
alcoholic.
yeah, machinist, mechanical engineer, machine builder, always working on something. And yeah, really a lot of my lunch is seriously a bag of sun chips and a container of cottage
But
cheese.
that was healthy.
Well, I guess.
We were getting our protein.
Yeah. They're whole grain.
We're getting
Come
our whole
on.
grains. Yeah, the sun chips. It was low calorie. Everything was about low calorie, cutting calorie, cutting calorie.
Yeah,
So it's not all about the food. So we started this podcast basically because we do not always talk about the food, but it would be ridiculous to not share how this all started.
that's where it started. Yeah.
It started with the food. We really thought we knew what was healthy, what
Oh
was right
yeah.
for us.
Oh
The
yeah.
years of Weight Watchers, the counting points, the cutting calories, the keto. I mean, I could talk for an hour about just the diets that we went on. And
Seriously.
when I went on a diet, the whole family went on the
Oh
diet.
yeah. Yep.
Everybody did it. It's just what we did. I mean, well, everywhere I look, everybody's dieting. If you're listening to this,
Hmm.
the likelihood of you being on a diet is pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's looking for the pill, the cure, the fix, the
Hmm.
that.
Probably 9 out of 10 are
I think
like
more.
some kind of
I think
10 out
everybody
of
wakes
10.
up every day and says, I need to work out better. I need to
Today's the
sleep better.
day.
Today's the
I
day.
gotta
I need
take
to
care of
eat
me.
better. So we did that. We no, we actually did it.
Yeah.
We actually did it. So here we just told you guys we were super sick.
Hmm.
That was that. And one day John was going into his what would be our ninth surgery in 11 months.
Yeah.
Ninth surgery procedure in 11 months. We were sick in our 40s, in our 40s.
Right.
So he's rolling into this surgery. He's self-employed. I'm thinking if anything goes wrong, we're screwed. We are
Yeah.
a mess because I can't work. I'm like ready to file for disability. I'm facing double knee replacements. And if you can't work, we can't pay for anything. So I'm hoping the surgery goes well.
Yeah. It would be
What am
like
I too close? Are you
no
telling me I'm
more
too close to the
Faye
mic?
yogurt.
Am I too close? Let me know right now.
No, you sound great.
We're going to learn as we go along. And that's
That's right.
basically what this is all about. We're going to learn as we're going to go
We're
along.
gonna learn. I just don't want to be too close to the mic.
I think you should. I think you should. People need to hear you. I'm so loud. So anyway, he's coming out of the surgery. The doctor comes out. She starts, pulls me over to the little room. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. She's like, well, it didn't go as expected.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's alive, but it's a
Gee.
long, well,
Well, that would be terrible.
well, you know what I mean? I'm gimping around
It
out
was
in
a
the,
wrist surgery,
it was
so
a wrist surgery. You need your hands to kind of work and make
yeah,
make
kind
some
of
money. So she comes out and she says it didn't go as planned. It was going to be more extensive of a
a lot longer,
recovery.
like a 6 month recovery.
Oh my gosh, you
It's like,
guys,
whoa,
we
hold
were
on.
broke. Now our medical bills were, we did not have health insurance. That's
Right?
right. We didn't have
Yeah.
health insurance. We were broke. I mean, you were working, working, working. It was great. But with all these injuries, all
Yeah.
the stuff going on, it was like, whoa, we do not have a backup plan. And I'm just getting sicker and bigger and sicker, bigger, bigger, sicker.
Hmm.
Like that's just every year. That's how it went. What's your goal for the new year? I mean, honestly, every year it wasn't to get sicker, but yet
No doubt.
that's what we
It
did.
seemed like that's what was happening. Yeah. It's just terrible.
Well, here at this point now, my life is flashing before my eyes. I just told him a couple weeks ago when we did the demo of this. We were talking about this. I said, "Did you know that I was texting people in the waiting room like, hey, remember that $100 that I remember that $100 that I lent you?" That's where we were in
Yeah.
2013. And to be exact, I think it was January 7th.
Hmm.
It was January 7th, 2013. This happens. We're on our way home. Now, this is the big reveal. We stop at McDonald's because that was like the only time we ate stuff like this was
Hmm.
after a surgery, and we just had 11. So that was probably McDonald's once a year. I actually have the receipt. Do you
No,
believe that?
really. I know. That's
I
awesome.
actually have the receipt. Hold on. Let me take a drink of
But
tea.
I think it was great because I mean, not great, but it just showed like, okay, let's just roll through the drive-through just so you don't have to worry about cooking or not for everybody and you can just focus
Do
taking
you remember
care
what
of
we
me.
ordered? I know it was Diet Cokes,
Oh, I'm sure I had a Big Mac.
Big Macs, probably.
Hmm.
Or maybe I got a salad. There's probably something I did. Like, let me get a salad. I'm thinking I'm doing
Yeah.
something good. So we get home and I'm already processing this. Can't work. I can't work. He can't work.
What are we doing? Yeah.
We're going to watch a documentary, but this time it's going to be forks over knives, I thought. So he's laid up. I get him all set up on the couch. I get everybody's food bag ready. Here you go. And
Give me my feed bag.
I said, come on, kids, come on down here. And I said, let's watch this movie. I said, well, dad's recovering. And our kids are cool. They come downstairs.
Yeah.
At the time, we've got a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 17-year-old.
Mm.
So just to give everybody an idea of the age range.
Right.
So we sit down, we plop in forks over knives,
Hmm.
and that was everything.
Yeah.
Um, he's recovering the next day, arms up in a sling.
Hmm.
I think I went out that night. I think I went out that night or the next day to go get groceries. But we watched the movie Forks Over Knives, and honestly, like it was one of the biggest. What do you even remember? Or were you like passed out?
Well, I was out of it from a surgery.
I said, we're not going to eat animal anymore. I said, I agree with you, Hallie. I said, we just can't do this anymore. I said, I understand that part. But of course, I was more fixated on the diet part of it.
Right.
Did they say reverse disease? I don't even think that computed because I was still like on the weight, on the weight, on the weight. I got to get
Yeah.
the
It
weight off.
started out as a diet.
I'm 240 pounds, constantly starving myself. I honestly didn't understand how I could get that big when I barely ate. I really barely ate.
Right.
So anyway, the next day I started off actually juicing. I started off getting a juicer. I started off juicing.
Hmm.
I threw up the first day, but I was determined. I was determined. Like I watched after Forks Over Knives, then I watched the Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It was like I
Yeah.
put two things together, but we went hardcore the next day. And I mean, I didn't just throw because of the food. So don't be thinking like, oh, that's it. I'm not doing it. She's throwing up. I was throwing up because I had no caffeine that day. I
Mm.
quit we were two pots a day, three pots a day of coffee
Yeah.
drinkers. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner was our diet of coffee. And you worked from home, so it was like coffee
Right.
time all the time. It's cold in here, actually. That's why I'm like, ugh. So anyway, I gave up coffee. I gave up drinking, which was a serious thing, and I never thought I'd be able to say that. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go one day. I was so desperate. I was so afraid to die. Like I said, I had pancreatitis, so that was my last procedure, was dealing with that.
Mm.
You're losing, everything right before my eyes.
Heck yeah.
So I just said, you know what, we're just going to do this 100%. And I went the next day, bought all these vegetables, fruits, all this stuff. We did a lot of juicing. We went 100% whole food, plant-based, you guys. Like there was no fake meats. There was no anything fake cheeses out there. We were
Right.
really just eating whole grains, fruits, vegetables
That's really what it was. Stir fries and
in days. So what happened was in days the weight started coming off. In days my inflammation went down. In
Mm.
days my kids were like, "Wow, look at my face clearing up." In days we had energy. Like every day I was hyping this up like, "Can you I'll be right back. I'm going to limp to the store with my handicap placard to get more fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables." And then it was just like people started noticing. It was so fast. People started noticing.
Definitely. I mean, I noticed just in a few days, I was like, okay, I could definitely do this. Let me do it for a week. And then at the end of that week was, oh, I could definitely go 2 weeks. And then it was just, wow, I just feel fantastic.
We
But if I could say, around town, we were dumping weight, and the ladies at the bank they saw you, Stephanie, and were like, "Is your wife okay?" They were really concerned. I'm like, "Yeah, why? She's doing fantastic." Oh, well, she just looks, like she lost a lot of weight. I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing great. We're
We're
just
getting
eating
healthy.
plants. Yeah, we're
We're
getting
bringing
super
healthy
healthy."
back. While yeah, everybody was freaked out. The pediatrician was
Mhm.
tripping. The nurse at the school, and here I'm gathering information, by the way. So months are going by. The
Mhm.
weight's coming off. I'm thinking I'm hurting myself at first. I'm thinking
The
something's.
ladies at the bank think you have cancer,
I
going
was
through
nervous.
treatment.
I was nervous. I was like, man, what if I'm really fucking us up? Like that is what crossed my mind. Like, how could this be that I'm losing weight so fast and it's coming off all of us so fast? We lost
Yeah.
250 pounds in 10 months.
Hmm.
We lost 250 pounds in 10 months,
Yeah.
not dieting. Okay. So, me in that time, it was like my brain started being a voracious learner. I was like, I have to understand how this,
Oh yeah.
starts working, So I start, reading the China study. I start reading, Neil Barnard's books. I start, gathering more information. I find nutritionfacts.org and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to tell everybody. I literally get my megaphone. I'm out there thinking, how are we going to get this going? It
Hmm.
didn't start it off. It didn't start off that quick overnight, the plantspiration part, but
No.
people started noticing right away, and I started helping people right
Right.
away. And right away, people started like I had somebody who got off their diabetes medication in 3 weeks. I was like, whoa, whoa, call your doctor. Like this is happening so fast. I don't know what I'm doing. It started off like that, and I realized, you know what? This may not be for everybody, but everybody has a right to know.
Right.
And that's how Plantspiration started. That's why we're here. We I started a nonprofit in 2017.
17.
It was
Hmm.
official. I started the nonprofit, trademarked Plantspiration, and truly after losing 100 pounds and building my self-confidence and starting to get more educated in nutrition and diet and lifestyle, and getting a better understanding of what this did for myself, my family, and then the people that I started helping, we just built it from there. So, you know, Plantspiration is a nonprofit, 501(c)(3), tax exempt.
Hmm.
Can you believe I did all that stuff?
That's awesome. You did like all of it from your phone. You didn't even have a
That's
laptop.
right. That's right. People don't even know that. I started my entire business, which is global now. We reach and teach people all over the world how to prevent and reverse disease, lose weight, live longer, feel great.
Yeah.
Um, it's amazing. They're not talking about it. So that's why I am.
Yeah.
So that's why I started Plantspiration and I started getting on social media, and then people just started noticing that I was funny, that I was
I
relatable,
know they noticed I was funnier. No, I'm just
true. So then as I'm, it just started snowballing, more and more people, I was able to help more and more people, and then I started in 2019, January 2019. So we're talking like a good 5 years later.
hmm
People think that success happens overnight. People think, and this is really what the podcast is about right here.
hmm
People think that you're going to start a diet and it's just going to happen. You're going to make some changes and it's just going to happen. You're going to start a business and it's just going to happen. You're going to
Right.
start a podcast. What? I just want to make
No,
sure
that's
they get
how,
the
yeah, definitely.
the picture of this. Like people think everything happens overnight, but like I teach everybody, we're going to start a podcast, I said, and I want you to watch how this goes because
hmm
this is how to go to the top. It's just by starting it, just
You
by
got to do
doing it.
it. You
You
got to
just
do
got to
it.
do it if you want. You got to show up if you want to get it done. Okay, we've
hmm
learned that. We went 100%. We learned that. And I also learned that whatever I put my mind to, I can accomplish.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach people or inspire people. And I realize, maybe I don't want to just limit it to just the people eating plants. Like maybe I should let everybody else in on this,
Yeah.
the ability to make these changes, change your life, not be stuck. So it's not just about the food, it is about the lifestyle. And we just really want to inspire people with what we've done and what we're doing and give them a little bit more background of, I guess, just kind of how normal we are.
Yeah. Background and hearing how normal they are gives people hope. Hey, I can probably do that too.
Well, first of
You
all, if
can.
you're listening to this, you can. Second of
hmm
all, what we'll tell you is you need to have a support system. And I know that kind of sounds geeky. Okay, I'm being honest. But what we've built is this whole giant bunch of community.
hmm
Maybe I'll give them a rundown of like, what does that look like? We take a diet and lifestyle medicine approach to
hmm
preventing and reversing disease. So I do that I'm a lifestyle medicine coach. And I've got this great supportive community. So we've got a bunch of people, 100, 150 people who are, doing it together. I
Yep.
have a private Facebook group that I coach live actually every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I do nutrition education and cooking classes. I'm
hmm
also a food for life instructor with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine.
hmm
And then on Thursday, I do some more coaching. And then Saturday is like a big day.
Yeah. We all get together. It's excellent. We
We
just like open, it's our group.
And then again, we piloted it years ago,
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We piloted this group. It was during COVID.
Yeah.
COVID kind of was the silver lining for Plantspiration. It gave us the reach to go more global because people were yearning for, not just some positivity, of course, because I was like, you know what, we're going to get through this. We're going to, get healthy through this. And that's really when I started reaching and teaching people globally from all over the place how to do this. So we do the support group on Saturday.
Mhm.
John's usually pretty quiet there too.
Yeah. Well, I'm just in awe watching you help everybody with the coaching and
Thank you. Thank
getting
you
them
very
through
much.
all the problems and issues. And it's just people come in here now, they're just doing great.
Well, we know how to get through problems and
hmm
issues.
Exactly. That's why
That's
we're all here.
that's why we're here. We know how to get people through those problems, those obstacles. And on Wednesday night is a cooking class that just rocks the world. We just finished October with 350 attendees for all those
Yeah,
classes, by the way.
that's right. It was
So
awesome.
we were doing yoga for the group, tuning
hmm
in live, doing yoga for the group. But we needed to block out some time to do this podcast. And I'm always telling people if you want to do something, you got to make a list, you got to make a plan, you got
hmm
to have an idea of what you're going to do. So we had to move some things around.
Yeah.
We thought we'd put together this podcast because we really want to get more out there of what we're doing, how we're doing it, and inspire people, obviously, to do whatever they want.
Right. Right. We're
Whatever it is
trying
you
to,
want, you could do. You just got to take the steps to do it. Does that make sense?
yeah, definitely. Definitely. Spreading the word, getting it out there. This can be done. This is how you do it. This is where you do it. This is where you have the support to do it, to actually get through it.
We're
Because,
very well known for that, for the support.
yeah, that's a
Our
big
support
thing.
group is awesome. And I'm very supportive because I'm in the group and I'm live with everybody every day. So that, they kind of like that.
Right.
They're watching us live our life too. So we started becoming really transparent,
Right.
and we had to work out our own shit. We
Yeah.
had to work. So that there's that too. We had to work a lot of stuff out. We are not the same people that we were
Right.
15, 12 years, 5 years ago, even.
That's
Like we've
right.
gone through so much stuff. There's so much stuff. We can't get enough episodes in one day. But this story of our life and what we've gone through and where we've been and forward into what we're doing right now, getting people all over the world healthier, preventing and reversing disease. I could say that 100 times because I want everybody to know it could be done.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
need some stuff in there, but we have to make some changes. And the changes that we made were one of the greatest things we've ever done.
Most certainly. Just feel like we have much more life.
We do have more life. So now not only does John work still
Mhm.
doing mechanical engineering, now we run this nonprofit and I dragged him into it. Hey, could you pay for this? I
Yeah.
want to get this business started.
No, this was great. I was the initial investor for the rest of our life. This is like well worth it. Like here you go, and it didn't take long, and you get members and people coming in, and now we
Oh,
have mics and chairs and a
can you
podcast.
believe can you believe what has been built?
It's
It
awesome.
started off with, like I said, in January 2019. That was when I said, "Oh, okay, finally." I built up my confidence,
Hmm.
I blocked out time. I made a plan of how I was going to do this. I kept having people over, the neighbors. I brought all the neighbors over. I was feeding everybody,
Yeah,
Finally, I said, I think I should just open the doors and I
yeah.
put this whole talk together on my own, is how I felt
It was
like
awesome.
it was. A bunch of people showed up and I literally crapped my plants off. I was like, oh my God, all these people are coming in my house. Like, is it clean enough? Is it ready enough? Am I smart enough? Am I all these things to make this happen? And I just explained to everybody, like, this is what happens when we eat the standard American diet. I mean, I had
Hmm.
the education behind me. I was certified
Right.
in plant-based nutrition. Um, at this point, I started off just, I have to do it or else I'm not going to be able. I had to set my own issues aside because I was so determined to tell
Just
people about
yeah,
this and
to
show
help
them.
people
Yeah.
out. Yeah, and just get through it, and life can be happier and healthier, and just get more out of life.
But a lot of things were holding me back. I was worried about my house and having people in my house. I was worried about, you know, I was maybe not going to say the right things. All these things stop people from doing stuff. They stop people from doing stuff. And once again, I go in and I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care if I mess up. Is that
That
how?
was great. No, that's how it was. And I mean, after a couple, two or three of them, I was like, all right, there's a lot of like, I don't know any of these people. I'm kind of weirded out. Like, we're gonna have to get a venue or something, do it outside the house.
It did start off like that. So
Mhm.
we get people showing up every week. So I was coming up with, hold on a second. Like
It
you just
was
made me
great.
remember. I started thinking, so I had to come up with a menu every week.
Hmm.
The kids were like, Mom, figure it out yourself. Like this
Yeah.
is not our deal. I'm telling my son to quick make me a website, so this is
Just
going
whip up a
on.
website in your spare time there.
People think this stuff happens overnight. Like, how
No.
did she get these many followers? Or how many, how did this all happen? Well, this is how,
Yeah.
I just kept kind of chipping away at it. So I'm coming up with these menus. I'm coming up with this different talk every week
Hmm.
then. Like,
Hmm.
here's something that could happen if you go and plant-based. So anyway, people started showing up. And then somebody said to me, oh, have you ever heard of Food for Life?
Yeah.
Did
Or
you know that?
PCRM.
Have you ever heard for Food for Life or
I feel
PCRM?
like no. I don't know.
No, never heard of it. So, I mean, I heard of Neil Barnard. I watched the documentaries. Now I was
Well, the
into,
food for life part. We're like, what is that?
yeah, I didn't know what that was. So I look it up online and I was like, what? Cooking classes. I need to learn how to cook. That's what I first thought is I need to learn how to cook. And then I noticed like the deadline it was like 7 days,
It was 3 days.
3 days.
You had 3 days to make a little demo cooking instructional video to send in to just to be a Food for
I
Life
didn't even know how to do
instructor.
that. I didn't even know how to do that. So once again, I went back to the kids and I said, can you help me upload this video? I think it was on Vimeo.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I did a 5 minute, I don't even know what I cooked.
I don't even
But
remember
at the
either.
time, I had no followers. You know what I mean? So
No, no.
I was just going on Instagram, like blowing it up. I just started doing it like I was talking to the kids. They were the only ones watching.
Right.
So I was like, hey guys, check this out. I'm doing
Yeah.
this. By now I'm out on my bike. I'm very physically fit at this time. I'm jacked actually. I got really physically fit after losing 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Can't believe it still to this day. So I just my plan, my social media kind of started off there. So um
Just cranked.
I just started talking about it and blowing it up. Where was I? Oh, so I start
Food for
food
life.
for life. So I'm used to going on online, I guess, or making videos. So I need to, and then I asked somebody like, hey, could you help me with a cover sheet? I don't really have a resume. I've never really done anything. But I mean, I did. I had jobs.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I had jobs, but I had to throw something together in 3 days. And I threw it together in 3 days and
And you were accepted into the
I
program.
was accepted in the program. I was like,
Mhm.
hey, I did it. But here's the thing. I'm kind of afraid to fly. I'm afraid to do anything. I'm afraid to drive on the highway. I'm afraid to do all these things.
Well, you were.
I was,
I were.
but you know, I started hearing, I started really thinking about somebody said some phrase to me. They said, fear is a liar. It actually showed up on my TV in the
Yeah,
commercial that night.
right.
Do you remember? Like it
Right.
was like the
Yep.
night before I left. Somebody had said this to me and it shows up on the TV and I was like, that's my sign.
Yeah. You gotta go.
I gotta go. And I hop on a plane. I brought my daughter with, of course. I brought one of my daughters with. I was like, I can't do this alone. And I show up to DC and I take the Food for Life training course. And this was another pivotal life-changing moment
You
of
were there for days.
days. It was a 3 day. Oh my gosh. I walk in a room. Should I tell them all this story about how it was like who I was surrounded by all these doctors, all these nurses, all these nutritionists, all these dietitians. And I was just like, whoa, these guys are
Top notch.
top notch and they're
Then,
taking food for life. And I'm in here. I actually was like, maybe I shouldn't be here.
yeah, what am I doing here?
What am I'm sure I texted you. What am I doing here? Maybe I'm not ready for this. Like it's going to be really tough.
I'm like, you're ready. You can
Yeah,
do
I was
this.
nervous. I'm sharing this vulnerable stuff
Yeah.
because this is what I want people to know. This did not happen overnight. I want to let you know right now if you're thinking, I don't know if I could do this.
Whatever it is.
Listen, you can do this. Just keep listening. I'll tell you how
Hmm.
to get there. But just by listening in right here, that's doing it. So I did the program. I came back home and man, it was like a bat out of hell. I just went straight to the first part of this curriculum. I came home, I learned how to actually, I was already doing really good social media. And then they all started
Yeah.
asking me, and they're like, how did you blow up your social media? I was like, what? I've just been being me. I don't know anything about it. I'm just trying to do what feels
Just
natural.
sharing what's happening.
I started sharing what I was doing, that I built this whole business off my phone. And
Yeah.
now I'm a food for life instructor. Now I've got this whole program with all these recipes. And then boom, it took off. It took off. And then all of a sudden, COVID happened.
Yeah.
We were taking food out of the house. We were doing classes out in person. We were blowing it up. And
Yep.
people kept losing weight and people kept, you know, getting rid of their diseases. And I kept pulling John out here and saying, could you serve the food?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we had fun. We had volunteers. It was a good time. I liked working in the kitchen, getting all the samples ready for everybody. We're cooking, they're learning, they're taking
And I'm
quiz.
thinking, I cannot believe my machinist, mechanical engineer husband is out here with trays of food.
Yeah, why not?
Why were you doing that?
Because it's the right thing to do, really. Because I felt great and I wanted everybody to know that you can feel great eating this delicious food. It's not like sailors and ice cubes and all like the stupid memes you see.
Everybody thinks that we're eating grass or, they're
Yeah.
making joke. And we went through all that where everybody was just really crapping on us.
Yeah.
Just
It's
our
ridiculous.
resilience is on a the highest level.
That's
So
right.
we're ready for the podcast. We're ready. You don't have to like us, but we just want people to know that you can change your life. You can
Hmm.
do whatever you want.
For sure.
First, you have to ignore the haters. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I want to inspire them. I want to inspire them, honestly. So anyway, then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
we just thought, oh my gosh, we just really need to help people get this message out. So, Neil Barnard said, hey, you could, through the Food for Life program, they said we could start doing the classes virtually. And I was like, what?
I'm like, we're gonna need a laptop. So,
Here it is. Started on my phone.
yeah.
Now I need a laptop. So I buy my first laptop with all the money I made from the classes I
Yep.
sold.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, and then let's not forget the talk I did in front of 800 people in
Oh
between
yeah.
it.
Oh
I
yeah.
become a food for life instructor, and 2 months in, they're like, "Hey, can you do a talk in Chicago?" I was like, "What?
Yeah. That's right.
I don't know what I'm doing." But I did. I just didn't believe in myself. I didn't grow up with, a lot of self-confidence.
Yeah. No, you did so good. That was great.
And then he's my hype man the whole way.
Heck yeah.
What are you thinking right now? So we're doing this. We're doing it. People said start a podcast. People said you got to share your story. Now
Hmm.
we're in magazines, we're in
Hmm.
books, we're in tons of other podcasts.
Yeah.
We've already done podcasts interviewing other people, other doctors. Now Plantspiration is global. It's physician recommended.
Hmm.
Everybody's coming from all over the place, but we wanted to kind of just reach everybody, the
Yeah.
unplugged level, what we're doing in our regular
Definitely.
life. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Running around, um, trying to get this room ready for the podcast, getting the proper stuff together because I want to show people truly, no matter what,
You just got to do it.
you just got to do
It's
it.
the only way. You got to jump in with both feet, really.
So if this podcast is in front of you right now because you want to do something different, the first thing I would tell people is write it down.
Yeah.
I had to write it down. Thank you to my bestie, Lauren.
Hmm.
Like 10 years ago, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. What do I do? She's like, you got to block out time. I said, for what? She goes, you got to block out time. I said, how do I block out time? She's like, just block out time that you're going to work on this. I go, but what am I going to work on? It was totally like, who's on first? And she goes, you're going to have to sit down and you're really going to have to think about what you want to do, what you're going to do. And I had all the thoughts. They
Yeah.
were constantly, I wouldn't stop talking about it. I have an idea. I'm going to build these wellness centers around the world. It's going to be like the
Yeah.
YMCA on plants. I still have that posted from like 2013 when I
Nice.
said, I'm going to do this. So I started blocking out time on how I'm going to start a business, how I'm going to start this going up. Now I have all these pieces. Now I just kept rocking and rolling. I mean, the engine was there. I kind of had to build it up the
Hmm.
same way we teach people on the highway to
That's
health.
like it's like frame up restoration. We just had to figure it out.
Frame up restoration, figure it out. And now we're to the point of on social media this week when we started this, I said,
Mhm.
what are some questions that you want to ask us? And I thought they were going to ask us some personal questions. How
Yeah.
long have you been married? How did you start the business?
Yeah. No, what was it all? Pretty much food
It
related.
was all food related. When did we start? How long are we going? Do we have
We're
a set time?
going. We're not. We can do whatever we want. Remember, as long as you put your mind to it.
That's true. Well, we want to thank everybody for taking the time to even listen to this right now. We've got such great feedback from our YouTube and people watching us just
Hmm.
live this lifestyle. Lots of people from our past are so wonderful. They're just like, you guys were great before, but just watching you make this transformation and, we volunteer our time. I didn't mention that either.
Yeah.
So we volunteer our time. All the stuff we're doing for the nonprofit, we volunteer our time. So John's working, he comes home. I'm coaching people all day long. My daughter is my executive assistant. We needed somebody, to help. It was getting so big.
Hmm.
So she quit her job to
Yeah.
help us. And this is what we do now. We eat, breathe, and sleep plantspiration and inspiring people. And
That's right.
so we also wanted to do health updates. We wanted to start these segments where we brought in health updates. All week long, I'm listening to people losing weight, reversing disease. We're in the process of a documentary as well.
Right.
A documentary about I'm a plant interventionist. I guess I should have
That's right.
said that. You do your title first
What's
because
my
you
title? I
just,
don't have a title.
hey, this is
Who,
John
me?
Ignoffo.
I am John Ignoffo. I'm the vice president of Plantspiration NFP Inc.
You're also
And
a plant-based nutrition
I'm a
expert.
plant-based nutrition expert, co-founder of
Certified
this.
in plant-based nutrition.
Yes,
And we just got word we'll be going to International Conference of Nutrition and Medicine you'll be there for the third time
for the
here
third year.
in
Yep, yep,
2025.
2025.
So I've spent the last 10 years of our lives basically researching nutrition,
Yeah,
how to prevent and reverse disease, how to get to the root cause, diet and lifestyle. So plant-based nutrition experts, I'm a lifestyle medicine coach, and we have a lifestyle medicine program. It's if you're working with me, it's intensive. I'm going to teach you how to go whole food plant-based. I'm going to
mhm,
teach you about exercising and how to fit that in. Um, Sleep is a big part of it. Stress management is a big part of it. And the biggest part of it is community. So,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm a big manifester. So, health updates for Plantspiration. I guess if this is episode one, we should start somewhere. People are crushing it at
Yeah,
Plantspiration.
for sure.
Uh, the feedback. What's some of the feedback that you hear going on from people in our group?
Well, that they're losing weight, getting off their medicine, just feeling great, getting outside, doing stuff, sleeping better, just being active. It's
We
awesome.
call those micro wins because the
Micro
huge
wins.
wins are we've seen a lot of people. We've helped a lot of people reverse heart disease, lots of reversal
Mhm.
of heart disease, people with end stage heart disease, type 2 diabetes. Listen, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nutritionist. What
Right.
I do is I teach nutrition. So none of this is advice. This is us getting the information out about what this does. We'll answer some questions, we'll do some stuff like that, but we want to talk about what we're doing behind the scenes, the
Right.
unplugged part.
It's not guesswork. It's scientifically backed.
Scientifics.
Hey, man, it's scientific.
It is. That is a
It
good way
is.
to
It's
put it.
proven.
It's
I mean,
evidence
it's
based.
evidence-based. That's the word.
Yeah. So lots of reversing type 2 diabetes, improvement of type 1, lots of autoimmune. I mean, you could Google us. You could Google us. You could see the testimonies. I can't even keep up with the testimonies, actually. There's so many. I'm really grateful for everybody who, it's honestly
It's
amazing.
awesome. I love that they take the time to share what Plantspiration has done for them. And it's excellent because they're come back in the group and we're doing our support group and then they're there and they're feeling good and other people are
It's
here and know
dopamine
how to
hits.
do it. It's dopamine
It's
hits, yeah,
dopamine hits all day long.
big
And
time.
my coaching during the week is a lot about behavior change, and that's why people are doing so well.
Yeah,
So we'll do some health updates. If we waited for everything to be perfect, we would have never started this. So
that's right.
we're going to share with you how we're going to the top by, you know, we know that we've got some information to give out there. We know that we want to inspire people. We know
Yeah,
we want to motivate people to get going and doing what you're doing. So the health updates are going to be a big part of it. So I think we should just, each week I give them an update of how much more people have ditched the medications,
yeah.
how much more people have lost the weight, how much more people have reversed disease, gotten active or slept better. Like there's so much to
I
it.
like it. It's like the community update,
Yeah,
of
community
how it's
update.
been doing.
I also want to we'll do interviews. We're going to be doing interviews. People have
Hmm.
already reached out and said we would love to be, interviewed. So we had some questions, and I think we covered kind of some of it. What was Plantspiration? What was life like before? It kind of sucked, but I thought it was good.
Well, I just thought that's just how
I
life
thought that was
was. Everybody else is eating the same thing with the same diseases, same outlook, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't good, and it really was. I mean, you weren't hearing about it on TV. There's no commercials, which, you know, feel free to donate so that we can get some airtime everywhere. I
Yeah,
want to get this word out that people are preventing and reversing disease. They're learning how to, take control of their health and make, informed medical decisions when they've got
right.
the right information. So, thank you for that. What was life like before? Not as cool as this. This is fun. This is awesome. And I just want to inspire more people to take on whatever they want to do.
That's right. Eat plants and live your best life.
John's still thinking like, I can't believe we're doing this, Stephanie.
This is great.
We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah,
We've done a lot of, well, everything we do is live. That's the other thing. A lot of programs are very like pre-recorded or something, or they got
right.
modules. I didn't know how to do modules, so I was like, well, I guess we're doing them live.
Let's just do
Now we
live.
have now we have some modules, I guess, all my past stuff. So some of the number one things people ask me is like how to lose weight.
Hmm.
Well, we
Come to
lose weight, but
class.
yeah, come to class. We teach. That's a really great place to learn. And
Yeah.
every week we teach a different section of chronic disease. It's like there's weight loss curriculum, there's a heart disease curriculum, there is a diabetes, there's a cancer, there's a breast cancer,
Hmm.
there's a kids curriculum, there's a universal meals, there's African American and culinary heritage curriculum, which also then covers heart disease, diabetes, cancer, stuff
Yeah.
like this. This is how it is.
It's awesome.
I just don't know what else to talk about.
It's fantastic. I love helping you out in those
I
classes.
couldn't do without you, honestly.
It's great. I like testing the food.
We've been through so much, and I want to take people through all that stuff too.
Yeah. Well, I
Getting
just want them to know Plantspiration is awesome. We are 501c3 nonprofit. and we volunteer our time to help others. Everything that comes in goes back out to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. There's many ways that we help people, but
Hmm.
check us out, plantspiration.org. We
Yeah.
we have individual classes every Wednesday night. They're nutrition, education, and cooking classes. And this is where people are learning how to lose weight, how to eat and nourish their body, how to flourish, how to get the right stuff. There's so much information.
I know.
There's so even good information.
Well,
It
sure.
gets overwhelming. And one thing people do is looking for the recipe. And that's what I'm known for saying is it's not about the recipes. It's about just
Yeah.
doing it. And that doesn't mean I'm dissing recipes.
No, no. But
Am
you
I?
don't, it's, well, you don't want to waste your time looking for like, oh, it's this one recipe, or it's this certain ingredient, or it's this, or
Well,
no,
that's
it's
why it
just,
worked for us.
yeah.
We didn't have recipes. So I'm going to tell you right now, you just got to start doing it. Just start eating your vegetables. Just start eating your, potatoes. Of course, if anybody makes any diet and lifestyle changes, let your doctor know. You all know that. Let them
Hmm.
know, get in Plantspiration. Then you can say you're working with a diet and lifestyle medicine coach.
Yeah.
Um,
And what I was gonna say, and if you don't want to, if you're not ready for the membership or whatever, you can go on Eventbrite and just buy a single class. Just come in and check
well, they
us
can
out.
actually get that through plantspiration.org. Then you can hit classes.
Yes, yes,
You can do stuff like that there. Then it'll take you to Eventbrite where you can see the
yeah.
rest of our,
Hmm.
all of our classes. Lots of great questions this week.
A
Do we have
lot
do
of
we have time?
information on the website too. A lot of testimonials on the website.
There's that
Before and
too.
after pictures.
There's that too. We got a lot of that. Lots of questions. How to cope with partner who isn't plant-based,
Mm,
protein requirements. People want to know how do you eat like this if you're a picky eater, you don't like vegetables. I love all these questions. Do we have
mhm.
time? How long have we been doing
There was
this?
a lot of vegetables I didn't like before, and just my taste buds changed by going plant-based, and now I love them. Like tomatoes, for instance. I didn't really
Oh
like
yeah, you
tomatoes
hated
before.
tomatoes.
Yeah.
Um,
Sweet potatoes, that's a no. Now it's excellent. I love sweet potato. What is up with that?
I don't know. Well, we didn't know
I
what
mean,
half of
I'll
these.
eat celery now.
He ain't lying. Like the first day I met him, he was like, I don't like tomatoes.
Or celery.
Yeah. So the amount of foods we eat is, first of all, overwhelming. That's why I trademarked Eat Your Plants Off too,
Yeah.
because we eat a tremendous, I eat a couple thousand calories a day. That's how I keep the
Hmm.
weight off. That's how I teach people to get weight off. We've been so misled with information. Now, not only are people getting distracted, is what I say.
Hmm.
They're getting distracted with all this wonderful information. And my colleagues, all these people out there, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm about keeping it really easy.
Hmm.
I just want to teach people how to actually just get in here. Get in here, and I'm going to show you how to do it really, really quick.
Yep.
You know, there's no failure. It's just feedback.
It's
That's
just not a diet. It's like you gotta just hear the people in the group. They're just like, this is just so easy. It's just the way I live now.
Can
It's
you believe
awesome.
we're doing this? Like, then I just look at you sitting here.
No,
I'm like,
I
can you,
don't.
what
This is
planet are we
awesome.
on? We're on the
It's great.
Plantspiration planet. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Manifested, Plantspiration around the world. For those of you taking notes about manifesting, I actually drew this logo on a
Hmm.
piece of paper with the word Plantspiration that I made up in 2017,
Hmm.
February. I dated
Roughly.
it.
Roughly.
I was in the middle of the T. Colin Campbell courses,
Yeah.
and it was within the next month, it was my first type 2 diabetes reversal.
Hmm.
Okay. I was already lost the weight, reversed the
Yeah,
disease.
yeah.
And I took a glass and did a little
Drew a
line
little
through it.
planet.
And I looked at the phone of the emoji of the earth and I was like, this will do. As I'm taking the test, listening to T. Colin Campbell. And I said, I got an idea. I want to start a business.
That's awesome.
And John's in the garage working in his machine shop.
Hmm.
And he turns the radio down. He's like, what? I said, I want to start a business. I'm going to call it Plantspiration. Yeah, baby, cool. Go for
Yeah,
it.
that's great. That sounds awesome.
Everything I did, you were just like, yeah, do
I'm
it.
there. I'm supporting you. I got your back.
Now
Just
look at
do
where
it.
we
Well,
are.
because I know you could do it.
Now look at where we are.
I know it's awesome. That's how I was like, I gotta buy machines. I gotta have my own machine shop. Every machinist says that. Well, I was like, gonna do it, and I did it.
See, we're
Gotta
doers,
do it.
not don'ters.
Yeah,
And that's what we want to inspire everybody to be as doers,
that's
no
right.
matter what it is. Like just write it down. Tell me what you want to do.
That's it.
Then you're going to call in and go,
How do I do
first
that?
time caller, long time listener. I did it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes at first we just told you. At first we didn't do it. I got
Right.
the laptop at first. I said, that's a bunch of BS.
Hmm.
It took years for me to open up my doors and say, oh, okay, I'm ready to show people what I did.
Yeah.
And it took a couple years for us to actually start the podcast that we've been talking about wanting to do.
Yep.
And where do we find the time? Guess what we had to do? We had to block it out. We
Hmm.
had to build our self-confidence. We had to get out on our bikes and talk it out.
Yeah.
We had to eat really good because
Right.
then we really get fired up about like, ooh, we're gonna be able to do
Oh,
anything.
no.
That's how it feels. We're trying to tame ourselves right now
It's
because
awesome.
it's awesome.
I just feel
We
great.
love people. We love what we do.
Hmm.
We're grateful for everybody listening, for everybody saying, hey, you got to listen to these people. They're just kind of
Heck yeah.
funny or informational or
It's just real.
inspiring. Well, my tagline is educate, motivate, and inspire.
Hmm.
But this is being unplugged.
Yeah.
This is just about, we want to give people a little insight of the changes that we've made, what we did and what you can do too.
Yeah, it's attainable for everyone, really.
More questions. How do you exercise in the winter? How do you eat when you travel? I mean, we've been all over the place. Driving,
Hmm.
flying. Now I go all over the place. My life has totally changed.
Yeah.
Um, and how do you start from zero? Do you know how long we've been doing this? We forgot to time it.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're just talking and doing our thing.
I think we should wrap it up soon.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Well, hold on, I'm not done.
Let's see. Love it.
We're not done. We want to hear from you guys. We want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in, who's supported Plantspiration, who's donated to Plantspiration, who's become members of Plantspiration, who's wrote Google reviews for Plantspiration. I truly am that grateful. I
Hmm.
thought I was grateful before. I thought my old life, I was like, yeah, I'm grateful. I got a car. I got this. I got a. This is just going to make you get more grateful
Yep.
because you'll just start feeling so good. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, I don't know if this can be done, then you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Just stick with us. You're going to get inspired. I'm going to meet you where you're at. But I just want you to think of all the amazing things you did today, which you can start by saying, well, I tuned into this podcast.
That's right.
That's the first thing
Today
I
you
did.
started by doing that. Look at it.
I know my gulp is loud. Isabel's always like, your gulp is so loud. Questions like protein requirements, and navigating the holidays through with meat eaters. And again, we know what that's like
Oh yeah.
because we were meat eaters.
Right.
And I realized, isn't everybody?
I
I
thought.
mean, that's how we were. I had to start realizing everybody else has been in the same shoes we were before of going, that's ridiculous. I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get your protein? How are you going to survive? If you have never heard of this and those thoughts are going through your head, normal. And if you have heard of us, those things are normal things that we hear every day. If you
Yeah.
say that you've gone plant-based or you've gone vegan or anything like that. So we want to straighten that kind of stuff out. We want to
That's right.
we want to bring.
Hmm. We are plugged in.
Is that over?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was the end.
All right. Well, we will catch you next time. Let's pause this.
I think that was great.
At this point, I love it. I love it.